So as you probably know, since you're watching this video, Google is now requiring advertisers to verify who they are. And as you also probably know, since you're watching this video, the process is utterly ridiculous. And not only is it ridiculous, it is a big pain in the ass, to put it bluntly. I don't know who came up with this process for Google, but they really need to be smacked upside the head. So there are two types of verification that I'm aware of. This video is going to be focused on just the first advertiser verification. The other type of verification might come after this one for you, or it might not. So I have done this verification twice already because I own 3 different Google Ads accounts. And I took notes the last 2 times I had to do this because the process was such a pain. So here we go. This is the first verification. It might look simple, but again, since you're watching this video, as you probably know, it's not so simple. So the first thing you should do when you start this verification is you need to create a folder so you can put the files you use in that folder on your computer or device. The reason you should do that is because if the verification process fails, you want to have the same files you were using the first time to keep everything in order. And you should also start up a document, a text document, so that you can type everything that you put into these form fields on this verification on that text document. That way you know exactly the information you entered the first time if the verification fails. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start the verification. So the first one is very simple, obviously, is your organization and advertising agency. So I'm not an agency. I don't manage any kind of ads for anybody else. It's only for my company and my products and businesses. So for me, this is no. Okay, now we have who pays for your ads. Again, I know that some of this might be different for you. I'm just going over how I went through the verification process and how I was successful doing it after many, many attempts. So this is the simple part of the verification process anyway. We'll get to the problematic part in a second. So here we have who pays for your ads. I pay Google Ads directly for all of my Google Ads accounts. Again, if you're working with an agency, yours would be no. An agency pays and invoices us. Then we have, do you advertise your own products / services or someone else's? And again, I advertise my own products and services with all of my businesses. So now we get to what's your industry or industries. This section to me is really weird because I just think that what they have there, it doesn't show everything that could be possible with a business or an industry. So for me, I produce a lot of books. So I just choose books and literature. So then once you save and continue, you go to this page and it says, based on your answers, you must complete 1 verification to keep running ads. So this is where the real fun begins. And this is where you need to keep your text document open and record the information you put into the form. So down here, we'll verify your organization. We're going to go to get started. Now, what you'll need for verification, you'll need to verify your identity to continue serving ads. You need 2 different things. You need a document for the organization and you need an ID to verify it's really you. So what I use for the document is I use the IRS form CP 575 that confirms your employer identification number. And for the ID, I use a driver's license. So once you click start verification, like I said, this is where it gets really silly. So when you enter information into this form, the information you enter has to be exactly the same as what's on the documents you're providing for your verification. It has to be exactly the same. If it's not, the verification will fail. Again, this is very important. If the information you enter is not exactly the same, then the verification will fail. At least from my experience, the verification will fail and you will have to do this over and over and over. When I first did this verification, it took literally over a month because I couldn't figure out why it was failing. And I kept calling Google, and every time I talked to someone with Google, they would tell me different information. I finally had to figure it out on my own because Google won't tell you. They will not tell you the reasons they give you for why the verification fails are very, very vague and just it's silly. Like I said, the whole process is ridiculously silly, but I figured it out eventually. After literally, it took like a month the first time, which was months and months ago. You cannot enter different information on this form to what's on your documents. It has to be exactly the same. So for the organization name, again, enter the exact same name from the document that you're using to verify. So I'm enter my organization name. Now I'm going to upload the EIN letter from the IRS that I received when I first formed this business. Once that's done, you enter the organization's address. Now here's the thing. I think they've changed this up a little bit since I originally did this. It's been quite a while since I first did this, but it says enter the organization's address. Enter either the address on the document you submitted or where the organization is registered. I think that's different because one of the main problems I had the first time, I was in a different location when I formed that business years ago. So my verification kept failing, and finally someone said, well, it might be because your address on your IRS letter is different from your address now. And I said, well, I mean, that probably happens with a lot of people. You know, you form a business many years ago. Now you fast forward many years into the future and you're not living at the same place, or you're not located, your business is not located at the same place. So obviously the address can change. So I eventually did get it to go through the first time, but my address is different from that form. So I just entered my current address here. So here you just enter your current address. But this was, like I said, a major problem for me the first time I did this. So now my address is entered. I'm going to click next. So here where it says add the organization's registration number, optional, enter the number. Anything on these that say optional, just enter the information, because it will, from my experience, it will help the verification process go more smoothly. So here I'm going to enter my EIN, and then we get to the name and ID. And again, it's very, very important that you enter the exact same name from whatever document you're using during this process. So there's a little bit of confusion here because it says provide your name and ID. And again, it says enter the exact same name from the document. Well, what document? Is it your driver's license or one of those documents? Or is it the document that you used the first time? Because there are two documents you're using here. So what I did is I put my name exactly as it is on the IRS document, the first document that I uploaded into this form. So I put my name exactly like it is on that document. So then I upload the document. Again, I'm using my driver's license, so I need to upload the front and back of it. Then it says enter your address. Enter either what's on your ID or your permanent address. So here I enter the address that's on my ID. Again, exactly like it is on the ID. Exactly the same. I'm telling you, if there's one little thing that is off when you're entering this information, Google will reject the verification, and you'll have to do it all over again. And it takes sometimes like days for them to review your verification and then reject it. So each time you're just wasting time. So here I enter my address just like it is on my ID. And then finally we can submit. So then as you can see, verification in progress. Thanks for submitting your information. We'll review it and get back to you in a few days. So we will see if this went through. I am expecting it to not go through. Really, I honestly am. I'm expecting there to be some kind of problem. Right now, as I'm talking, I have a headache that's forming just because of how utterly ridiculous and crazy this whole process is. And I know that there's probably going to be a problem. And it's just not good. It's just not good to put people through this. I understand why they want to verify their advertisers. That makes sense. But their process at Google is just so crazy and just ridiculous. I mean, I know I've said it over and over, but it is. It's ridiculous. But at this point, I've got everything submitted. So I guess I'll see you whenever I hear back from Google. Should I select very dissatisfied? All right, so I'm back. It's actually only the next day from the video you just saw. And I received an email this morning and it said verification complete. So my information went through, everything was good. I'm shocked that it did. So I know this video is long and boring and I've been rambling and blah, 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 but at least hopefully it can help you somewhat get through their ridiculous verification process. And all I can do now is wish you the best of luck.